Well, welcome everyone to Appy Hour. We're doing another Campfire chat series this time with our good friends over at Swissnet. So we have Sam and Mandy joining us today. So welcome, and we're super excited because today we're playing games. And there's prizes.
Oh my gosh, and I love the prizes. Oh, they make me laugh every single time. Can't wait to show y'all.
We had to have games on the last day of tax season. Like that,
you have to have drinking, and you have to have games, and you have to have celebrations and all of it. Just bring it all.
So we're very exciting.
Well, I'll go ahead and introduce myself so that we can keep moving. I'm Liz Scott, and I get to play in the world of apps, and I absolutely love what I get to do. It's a thrilling experience to have the chance to listen to all of my peers and have the time to get to respond to all of your comments. So sometimes whenever you're talking about apps and technology and not really sure where to put all of those comments, they're starting to come my way, and I absolutely love it. So keep doing that. It's really cool to hear what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you're needing. So Heather, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Heather Satterley, and I am a CPA. I'm also the Director of Education and Media at Woodard. And I also love apps, and I love playing with them. I'm having so much fun right now with this AI boom that we're going through. Like, it's so fun. Like, the things that it does is amazing. So I'm really been very much spending lots of time kind of playing with that stuff, and it's very exciting.
Oh my gosh, me too. That's what I was doing for the last couple of hours, was looking at some of the apps that I have, all of the AI that's built in.
Yeah, exactly.
Last month.
Canva now has AI built in. It's okay. It's okay. It's like, I look at the AI where it is right now is it's a launching point, right? It'll get you started. Like, it's not going to complete the job. We're not at the point where it can do the whole job. You have to monitor it. You have to review it. But it gives you kind of a jumping off point, and it does save you a ton of time. So love that.
I absolutely agree. Sam, you're a good friend, and I'm so glad that you're here. I would love for you to introduce yourself and what you do at Swissnet.
Yeah, happy to. I've been at Swissnet for a little better than 7 years now, and have done a little bit of everything within the organization. Today, I lead the product team and work on innovation, both for the accounting community as well as our internal teams. But one of the things that's happened over the last year or so is I've really been welcomed into so many of the little communities that exist within the greater community. And what I've had the opportunity to do is really listen to the pain points within the accounting vertical, with where things are going, where people are on their journey, and being able to take that back to our Swissnet family and say, hey guys, listen, we're missing the mark here, or we're doing really good. Let's just improve a little in this other direction. So I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about that I get to do at Swissnet right now.
I love that. And, many of the people that are here, they have probably gotten a chance to see you. So I want to encourage everybody, if you see Sam at Scaling New Heights, he would love for you to come over and say hi.
Oh, definitely.
So those of you who don't know Sam, sometimes he avoids some of the conversation, but he is such a wonderful person to talk to. So I tease Sam because you're delightful.
Thank you, Liz.
And one of my best buds, Mandy. So Mandy Sullivan, I've had a fun time hanging out with you. You're another great time at conferences. So I'm excited that you're going to be at Scaling New Heights this year. But do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Mandy?
Liz, I've never been accused of being boring.
I believe that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy Sullivan. I am a account manager at Swissnet. Actually, coming up on 3 years now. It's flown by. I work with all of our accounting partners I attend a lot of the training trade shows with Sam and work with him on the products that we hear from everybody when we're out talking that they need and what they're looking for in a good partner. And then I take that back to our team and just to ensure that Swissnet is a good partner for our clients.
That's fantastic. And I'm glad that you're here. One of the things that you bring into our accounting industry is the conversation about security. And that's one that I think a lot of accountants struggle with having that conversation. So one of the things that we're doing today is making it not so scary.
Love it.
Me too. Me too. So we have some games coming up. We're going to be talking about just some security trivia. What do you know? It's really just playful questions, but at the same time, it's informative. And we have prizes today.
We do. Very fun.
It is very, very fun. So before we get started, I want to make sure to give Swissnet a chance to really share why you're part of this SaaS conversation. So many people know Swissnet as a QuickBooks Desktop hosting company, but Sam and Mandy, do you want to share a little bit about how you are in this SaaS world?
Mandy, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start off. So we have learned that security is so important when it comes to your data, and not only just your data, but you're also hosting or have access to your client's data. Whenever you're in the QuickBooks Desktop world and you're in our hosting environment, we know you're protected by redundant firewalls. We know that CrowdStrike Next-Gen antivirus is there to protect your data. We know that we're backing it up every hour, storing that in geographically different locations. Whenever you get into the SaaS world like QBO, we don't know what's protecting your data. So that's where we really started a transition to make sure that we are protecting the devices that you are using to access the data. So we can put the next-gen antivirus on your devices so that if something looks suspicious, it's going to alert us. And then it also will give us that ability to roll that device back should something happen, because nothing is 100% proof. But should something happen, we now have that ability to roll your device back and get you back up and going. Sam, did I leave anything out? You're the brain in this duo.
No, I think you did a great job. I mean, you see the Visory logo behind me and the Swissnet logo behind Mandy. It's one big family of companies, but since 2019, we've acquired a couple of organizations whose sole focus has been cybersecurity and SEC level compliance for wealth management. And so that was strategic because we knew that the accounting industry was starting to undergo the same sort of transformation from a regulatory standpoint that we saw with wealth management about 10 years ago. We wanted to get in front of it. And so what we're doing is reshaping our business model to meet that new set of needs that you guys are facing every day.
Well, and I think the thing that is important for our community is to be talking about what kind of security protocol do you need to have in place? What are some of the things that you need to do in order to protect the people in your firm, your clients, yourself, and to make sure that, this job that's hard enough, you don't have some more difficulty whenever it comes to, if you get hacked, what do you do? How does that slow you down? All of those things, that's where the fear of the unknown comes into play. So having a proactive game plan is going to help you with that mindset of, I got this covered.
Yeah, and I mean, section 4557, which is a big deal for our tax practitioners, right? We have to be compliant. They're going to start, coming down on people in just a couple of short months. And so if you are a tax preparer, you've got to make sure that you have these safeguards in place, and that you're doing all of the required things that the IRS expects you to do as a tax preparer. So this is something that, technology changes very quickly and it's hard to regulate, but they're starting to regulate it. They're starting to say, these are the things that you need to have in place within your organization when you're dealing with sensitive financial, and private information. So, so it's no longer just this is a nice to have for firms. Like, it would be nice for us to have it. We have to have it. Like, we have to have it. So I think that's
Right.
important.
And I think just to add to that, Heather, is, there are ripple effects to a breach or to an attack. And so, in accounting, your success and your client's satisfaction with your work is largely dependent on your ability to deliver on time. And a ransomware attack or a breach or some malware is going to impact your ability to deliver those services on time. And that's one of the many ripples that come out of that sort of thing.
Yeah. What I love about it too is a lot of our listeners are either solo practitioners or they're really small firms. And so for a long time, I was like, well, we can't afford this type of protection for our firms, but that's not the case, right? The service that you provide is affordable. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that's one of the things that, as a small practitioner, I was like, can I even have this? Because that's scary to think about. We're small. Are we too small?
The really awesome thing about technology is that it gets cheaper the more of it you can buy. So the whole concept of economies of scale, I mean, we as an organization can go out and invest millions in really enterprise grade technology and then bundle that up in bite-sized consumable packages that are scalable and predictable in terms of cost and come with a really simple per user fee that does then become affordable for a sole practitioner or a small business with maybe 2 or 3 employees that couldn't go out and source all of the different tools and technologies, let alone manage them, because it's one thing to source them, but it's a whole other thing to manage all of those different tools and technologies. And going back to what Liz said, I mean, you guys are busy enough trying to help small businesses be successful and help your clients manage their books and be profitable yourselves. If you're wearing another hat for security and IT infrastructure management, then you've got a whole second full-time job at that point.
Well, and a lot of what Appy Hour does is it talks about the apps that big businesses have had for years, and now it's on a smaller scale for the smaller businesses. And that's the same thing now with what you're offering for security too. It's like, this has been around for a long time, but it wasn't something that was affordable and we couldn't have it in some of our large or small firms. So that's what I've done. You manage our devices in our firm, and Don Brolin is also with you too. And so both of us have came to you for that bite-sized piece that we need for security.
Right. And you guys are even on one of our larger scales. I mean, our packages, the cybersecurity packages, they're starting off at $24.99 a month. I mean, what CPA firm, even a solo practitioner, cannot afford to pay $24.99 a month to have next gen antivirus and the ability to have your computer rolled back should a malware or ransomware hit?
It's funny that you say that, because I didn't even have a ransomware or any type of malware attack. For me, what happened is I had a morning that I went to my brand new computer and I logged in and I had the black screen. And so I had nothing there that I could work with. And so for me, I was able to back up my device. Swissnet was backing up my device, and I was able to deploy that, and I was up and running within 15 minutes. So that to me was a huge success, because I didn't want to be slowed down. And I haven't had the issue with my computer since. There has been no issue, but I mean, it sometimes just happens even with brand new computers.
Yep.
All different kinds of things that can happen. So let's keep talking about security, and I can't wait to share with you these prizes. So I'm going to give everybody
these are everything.
right. So what we're going to be doing is we have some fun trivia that we're going to work through, and whoever is the overall winner will get to pick which of these lovely prizes that you want. The screen, I know the mug is awesome. So the mug is super cool. I love the drop of unicorn blood. The
Yes, and the feather
screen
boa.
protector that's on there is one of those that you can't see, that's like if you're right next to somebody. So it's one of those that you have to be looking straight on in order to be able to read your phone. And then the security game, this was just fun. So if you're somebody who has young kids or grandkids and you're wanting to just talk to them and have that open conversation with them as they're like working with all these apps, you know, this is just a fun way to make sure that you're including that cybersecurity conversation with even kids. And
No,
then
I feel like this doesn't,
itself.
I feel like that doesn't have to just be for kids though. I feel like
No.
if your company is having an offsite, this would be a really fun game to play over cocktails, you know, to just, I'm all about that. I think that would be great. So
Yeah, you know, maybe the shirt goes along with why we need games. Like, why do you keep clicking on stuff like that?
right.
You know? Mhm.
And they're getting really, I mean, these bad people, the bad actors, I think that's what we're supposed to call them. They're getting better. Like I got a voicemail like 2 days ago and it was really, really convincing. And I knew because I was like, it was like, hi, this is Sue. And I'm calling about that loan that you applied for, you know, can you call me back? And so it was so personal and so like sounding like a normal person that was just leaving a message. But I'm like, I haven't applied for any loans, but it was telling me to text that number, my email address. And so it was meant to be, you know, part of me was like, oh my gosh, did somebody apply for a loan in my name? And should I text just to make sure? But then I would have fallen for the phishing scam, right? And so it's stuff like that where it was very, very convincing. And it did make me think twice about, you know, do I text my email? Should I call that number? And I was like, no, I know better. So like they'll find me another way. If it's real, they'll find me a legitimate way that's not like creepy.
Was it a female, Heather, that called you?
It was.
So the bad actors are starting to use females more and more because people feel more comfortable talking to a female than they do a male.
It was very, very like low key. Like it was as if Liz had called me and said, hey, it was like, hey, this is Beth. I'm calling about that loan. We talked earlier about, you know, I just need to get this additional information, but I'm having trouble reaching you. Can you just text me back at this number with your email address? And it was very convincing. And she sounded very like normal and like somebody that you would talk to any day. So
Yeah,
they
Sue
are
would
getting
never do you
very,
wrong.
very good.
Sue's your friend, right?
Sue's my friend. Yeah.
Well, so I was looking over at chat, and so Anne was talking about fake emails are so convincing.
Yeah, they are.
You know, there was an email that had came through the firm and it would have looked normal except for the team member that it was sent to. So one of our team members was sent a bill and they would not have normally been sent bills. And so that was the only thing that stood out as just an oddity, as otherwise it would have been really easy to click through to look at, you know, whatever was on the other side of that click. Lots of them out there. Okay, so this is where we get to,
Are we ready?
Yeah, this is where we get to put our Google Sheet into the chat. So the way that this is going to work, everybody, is that we've got Megan who's here with us. She's going to drop the Google form link into chat. And so that form, what it's going to do is going to ask you a question and we're going to pop that up. And then the first person or the correct person to respond to that is going to be the winner of that round. So let's make sure that link gets dropped over into chat before I share my screen. Megan, are you able to grab that? Ah, there it goes. Okay, so here's our question. How often does ransomware attacks occur? A, every 2 hours, B, every 11 seconds, C, every 18 minutes, or D, every 4 days?
All right, you have to answer in the Google Sheet.
Yep.
So if you don't answer in the link is, Megan just dropped it in the chat. It's a Google form, and the way that you're going to do it's not Google Sheet, it's a Google form, and there's a link in the chat. Megan, okay, Megan, you only sent the link to the hosts and panelists. So can you send it to,
No wonder nobody can see it.
yeah,
Makes sense now.
but that's right.
All right, so everyone.
All right, so
should see
she's
that
going to
Google
drop it to, okay, Liz just dropped it into everyone. So perfect.
form. All right, so we're testing your knowledge.
We are.
I want to give everybody some time to respond to that. Let me open up that form. Megan, do you want to help us keep track of have most people answered
It's just the first person who answers, right?
correctly?
Yeah, so I guess she should be able to find that pretty good.
Okie dokie.
Or pretty
So
quickly.
then I like that. We'll move on and go to the next section. So in order to move to the next section of this Google form, to our second trivia question, you have to add in the passcode. And so this passcode is lemon drop.
Which is a cocktail.
It's also a very good shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
All right, so our second trivia question, how much does the average ransomware attack cost an accounting firm?
Oh my goodness. Approximately 9.44 million, approximately 1.8 billion, as in Whoppers sold, approximately 70 million, and approximately 2.2 million. And I'm pretty sure that 1.8 billion is or is it the number of Big Macs? It's either Big Macs or Whoppers.
Are there really that many of those sold?
I think that I remember seeing something like that on their sign at some point, and I feel like it was 1.8 billion. I could be making that up. Please don't fact check me. Although somebody will. I'm pretty sure that somebody is Googling right now how many Whoppers have been sold to fact check me. And
I don't know,
okay.
but I've contributed to both of those numbers, Big
Oh, me
Macs and
too.
Whoppers. I am totally on board with either.
I know. And so have you had the Impossible Whopper yet?
No.
I have not.
So good.
I gotta try it. I hear it's good. I just haven't. I did try that plant-based pizza once, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm not so sure about this." So,
Yeah, I'm not a huge burger fan, but I do love pizza, and so I like the cauliflower crust pizza. There's a couple of restaurants out here that are doing it so well that it actually has more flavor than the regular crust, which I'm a fan of crust, but the cauliflower crust is pretty darn good.
especially if you dip it in garlic butter.
Yeah. Or the best is stuffed.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So the passcode to our next section is highball. All right. So Heather, you want to read off this one?
Sure. Where do 90% of cyber attacks come from? Phishing emails, malware, ransomware, or an insider threat?
Good question.
I like the people in the contestants on the slide.
They're really cute and they're on brand.
Well, you know what's cool is the women are like, I know, and the men are like,
I hadn't noticed that.
Sorry, Sam, that was not directed at you at all. I was just observing
accurate.
that they both seem like, And the women are
It's
like,
accurate most of the time. I'm the guy with the smoke.
Hey, that's funny. So what do you, yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Okay. And the passcode to the next section is edible. All right, and here is the question for the next section. What's the difference between malware and phishing attack?
Do you want me to read these?
If you want to, that's a lot to read.
I'll do, how about I do one, you do one, and then I'll do another one.
Okay.
All right. So A is malware is a type of scam that tricks you into giving away personal or sensitive information, while phishing is a type of virus that infects your computer.
B, malware and phishing are different names for the same type of attacks that hackers use to gain access to your personal information.
All right. Or C, malware and phishing are two separate types of attacks. Malware is a type of software that's designed to harm your computer or steal data, while phishing is a type of social engineering that tricks you into providing sensitive information.
Okay. You think we should count down since this was the last trivia question? Okay.
All right. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should have opened up my sound thing that I had, you know, the app that we had for our New Year's Eve party. It had sounds on it. I wasn't ready, but I would have done the drum roll. So B, do you want to go back to the slide? So it's BAAC are the answers. I've got that memorized now. So let's go back to each question. All right.
Okay.
So every 11 seconds was the answer to question 1.
That's quite often.
Mhm.
Yeah, who can do the math? How many ransomware attacks are going to happen while we're on this happy hour chat?
Right. Oh,
Let's-
let's see. Let's see. So it's 60.
I'm sure Sam's already typing it up.
No, I
equals
leave the numbers to the
11.
professionals.
327.
Yeah.
327 while we're on happy hour. How much does the average ransomware attack cost an accounting firm? The answer was A, approximately 9.44 million. Hope you have cyber security insurance writers.
And what was interesting is that the cost of an attack was notably higher in the United States than as compared to other countries around the world. So just fun fact, more expensive to get hacked in the US.
Well, I think it's because of our legal system. It's so incredibly easy to sue
Mm.
somebody, right?
Hmm.
I don't know what it's like in other countries. I just know in ours. I wonder if that's why.
Yeah, that's definitely expensive. I wonder if anybody wants to throw it in the chat. Do you know somebody who's had a cybersecurity threat or attack? Maybe not a threat, because I guess that would be like any of us are getting some of those phishing emails, but maybe an actual
Ransomware or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Ransomware, malware.
I've met somebody who has.
Me too.
Yeah.
Somebody in our community. I mean, Andrew Wall talks about it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Where do
somebody-
90% of cyber attacks come from? A, phishing emails, B, malware, C, ransomware, or D, insider threat? And I think the correct answer here was A, phishing
Yep.
emails.
Which that just means with our team, we need to make sure that they're aware of not to click on what to click on. Because that email that went to a team member who wouldn't normally get bills, they were like, hey, this is like a weird thing for me to get. And they sent it right over.
Yeah. The other ones that I'm getting a lot now are like your Amazon order. Amazon doesn't text you.
No.
They don't.
Yeah.
And I get that and I order a lot from Amazon. But luckily I did not click on the link.
Yeah, but some of them are pretty good. Let's
Yeah,
see.
stolen credentials, which is, one of the things that phishing is going
Oh.
after. Stolen credentials are actually responsible for, from this study that was done, responsible for 1/5 of all the attacks that happened in 2022. So compromised credentials, number one.
That's pretty bad.
I only know one password, and that's the master password to my password app. That's it. I don't know any of the passwords to anything else in my life.
Love it. Cloak them all.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow, Les, you're saying that one of the franchisees that you work with and then passed it to 9 others. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
Mhm. All right, what's the next one was, okay, so this one was I'm not gonna read through them again. The
Mm-mm.
correct answer for this one was C. So there are 2 separate types of attacks. Malware is a software, so the bad actors are writing software that's gonna get installed on your device, and then it's gonna work behind the scenes to like grab all the data it can.
Yeah,
then-
and what's the life cycle on that, Heather? Do you remember that from some of our other conversations?
The
Average
life
time to
cycle, yeah,
detect?
it can stay dormant for a long time, right?
Yeah, the average is 235 days,
Yeah,
and then another almost 3 months to actually contain it once it's found.
that's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, we have a winner.
Ooh,
Are you guys ready?
yeah, let's,
feel like
hold
I
on,
need
let me go back to
to-
the prizes.
Okay, let's go back to the prizes. I feel like I really do want that drum roll. I want to find, hold on, I'm gonna do my sounds. Because I really think that's, let's see. Oh, I keep typing in spounds instead of sounds. Oh, no, I did spuns.
Speaking
you
of
know what, I must have-
spuds,
oh, here it is, 100 buttons and sounds. Okay, here we go. So drum roll. Let me see if I can search drum roll. All right. Oh wait, I gotta turn up my volume because I always have it.
Yep,
Ah,
this is for our winner. Yeah, we can all hit our dice really
Alright.
fast. I like that.
okay, I did it. I did it. I found I have all kinds. It's over 100 sounds. It can get pretty funny, and Liz and I can be really silly with these sounds. So, all right. So if your initials are MM, you may have won the trivia.
Ooh.
Ah.
So,
Yeah.
oh, Michael's like,
Oh.
whoa.
Oh.
Oh.
And Megan Morrell, you are right. You are the winner. Congratulations.
Yay.
Uh,
Okay, so I have to ask Megan, which of these appeals to you most? The screen protector, the coffee cup, the shirt, or the game? The t-shirt.
I like it. Yeah. I
I'm
think
so
I would have
happy
picked the
that the
t-shirt
shirt
or the
won.
mug. So
Yeah, that
awesome.
mug.
That was fun.
Hilarious. I agree. I think that was super fun. And we were talking about security along the way, like what do we need to know? But Heather, you touched on this one just a little bit ago, talking about the IRS regulations of
Yeah,
change.
sorry, there's a spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, I think that anytime that you're talking about security in the accounting industry, that's going to come to mind.
Oh, totally.
So one of the things that I've talked to, I'm not a CPA, but one of the things that I've talked to some of my CPA friends about is this year, while they were renewing their licenses, they were asked a question by the IRS. Do you have a WISP in place? And many of them, tried to bypass those questions kind of quickly because they haven't really slowed down to take the time to figure out what all is included in that requirement. What do you need to do in order to meet that requirement? And one of the things is to make sure that you've got devices protected, that you've got data protected. And so there's a lot that goes into security maintenance.
So Liz, could you tell us what the acronym means for people that may not know what WISP is?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a written
Mandy?
information.
Or
Yeah,
Sam, could you help us out?
it's a written information security policy.
Mandy, you nailed it.
Awesome.
I nailed it. And the reason why I nailed it is because it's drilled into our heads every day here at work. So much so that we're actually at Scaling New Heights. Sam and our CEO, Bob, are going to be leading a class on WISP writing during one of the power breakfasts.
That's right. I was going to mention that and you beat me to it. I'm excited about that.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
Spoiler alert. So time to get your coffee at 7:45 a.m. And what day are you guys doing? Is it Monday?
Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday. So yeah, it's gonna be a good session. And
We
did I get
agreed,
that right?
though-
Written individual?
Information.
Oh,
security.
information.
Information.
See, I didn't know either.
We
written
agreed that we need to, instead of a
information.
power breakfast, we need to do a power happy hour for this sort of thing in the future, though.
Oh, with
Yeah, like a
mimosas, I'm
workshop.
down.
on
Yeah,
how
it's a
we-
workshop, you
Ooh,
know,
I like that.
7:45, demystifying a wisp. I don't know. That'd be good.
You
It's
know, you're gonna
important,
have a
though.
whole
You're
lot of
right.
interested people though, because
I get up at, yeah, it's
Yeah,
important.
I think that this would be well attended. It's not
Mhm.
scary when you're doing it together.
Right.
Right. The interesting thing, Heather, is right now the IRS is just having you to have a WISP, right? Down the road, we see the IRS coming back and telling us now, not only do you need to have a WISP, but you need to prove to us how you're enforcing that WISP in your firm.
Well, and one of the things that I'd love to share with the audience here is that you've been in this space for quite a while with financial management. And so you're seeing some of the requirements that are laid down first there that are now trickling over into the accounting industry.
That's correct. Yeah, the wealth managers, they have to have their version of the WISP, but then they can be audited at any given time to show that they're actually doing everything that they have in their WISP. And the nice thing about the companies that are our sister companies is we can simply hand them the report saying, yep, here you go. And this is how we've done it.
And, I don't doubt that you're right, that might come over into the accounting industry. We know that there's audits of various different kinds. And so it wouldn't be out of the norm for there to be an audit to make sure that you have all of the requirements in place.
Sam, thanks for sharing that template. You know how much we love templates.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a good one. I really like the way that it's done, and it links out to some additional stuff for small businesses. So, stuff that you can share with your clients about protecting their businesses as well. So it kind of, it stretches beyond just what the financial professional should be looking at, and talks about small businesses as well.
Awesome.
So, Mandy, can you talk to the team training that SwissNet Powered by Advisory offers? Because that's something I think a lot of accounting firms they want to make sure that their teams are savvy, but they don't really know what to teach them.
Yeah, sure. So right now, the average, on average, 32.4% people are fish prone, meaning they're going to click on stuff that they're not supposed to. After taking our training and going through our program, that drops to 17.4% in 3 months. And then it'll drop down again to around 5% after 1 year. So that's a huge drop. And it's really just showing and teaching your team on what to look for in a valid email. It starts off with a baseline fish test. So you wouldn't tell any of your team what's happening. It goes out to everybody. We're going to see who clicks. From there,
love that, because one of the things that you sometimes wonder is, if I'm training my employees, does it stick? So the fact that you come back later on and do this test after the fact as a firm owner, that gives me a lot of comfort.
Oh yeah. So then we're going to put you through 45 minutes of training, and they're YouTube type videos. You watch it, it tells you what to look for. There's the games that you interact with. Once that's completed, then we're going to biweekly send random phishing emails to all of your staff. If anybody clicks on it, go ahead, Sam.
Well, and going back to Heather's thing, it's AI driven, which is really cool. So there's this huge catalog of legit phishing attempts that have been reported back to the platform that they then defish, so they make them safe, and it's industry specific. So if it's a small business that we're setting up, it might be construction focused. If it's a bookkeeping or accounting firm, it's going to be finance or accounting focused. And so the AI driven aspect of that, I think, is really powerful.
That really is.
But then if somebody clicks on these going forward, it's going to say, probably shouldn't have clicked on that, and it's going to re-enroll that staff member back into remediation training.
And report it back to the manager.
And then we get monthly reports that go back to the management to let them know, who's fish prone.
Well, and you know, that's the part of it that just gives me more comfort, because anything that I can do to implement protocol is important, but to make sure that it's being followed through, you know, we don't always get to test it. So I love that aspect of it's random. So there's not a timeline. It's not like every 3 months. It's just a random that it's going to happen, and then you get the results. So even the firm owner won't necessarily know that that's getting ready to happen, because we can be guilty too.
And I think it's really important because there's something, you know, it's better for the team member and the company to, you know, feel a little egg on their face when it's not a real phishing attempt than it is to actually be targeted and end up with a liability. So that's great. Awesome.
So managed IT, do you want to talk about that, Sam? Because I know for me, I've got my devices are being monitored, but do you want to share what that means and what all is encompassed in managed IT?
I mean, yes. So it can be as big or as little as it needs to be. I'll start there. So, you know, we have some clients that need us to, well, talking about our wealth management clients, right? We're implementing SEC level compliance, and a part of that is the IT management and enforcement of all of those policies. And then we have other clients that really need something a little more baseline. They need someone to call when they get a new printer, but they also need us to protect their endpoints and do you know, some of their more basic cybersecurity enforcement needs, like MFA on the computers, and you know, making sure that next gen antivirus is on there and is active and is working, and making sure that we're remediating things as they occur. You know, I talked about it briefly before, implementing all of the tools necessary for you know, a holistic whole business security and support model is a full-time job. And as firms grow, even smaller firms, 2-3 people, they get to a point where they're like, you know, I can't really wear this hat anymore. I need someone to take this burden off of me so that I can take vacation, and I know that my team's not going to be dead in the water if something silly happens. You know, one of the stories I like to tell is, I was talking with a controller, and we were talking about team training. We were talking about IT management. She said, "Oh no, I do all of that." And I said, "Oh, great. How's that working?" "Oh, it's fine. The team is so cybersecurity aware. You have no idea. They forward me every email that they're not sure about." And I said, "Great. That's fantastic. So your primary function is cash flow management, and you're serving as the human spam filter and also the IT help desk." And she said, "Yes." So, you know, for some organizations, I guess that works, but you know, having the peace of mind that there's someone that specializes in this and can proactively monitor all of the systems and tools and make sure that the business doesn't have any downtime. I think that there's a real benefit to that, which is something that our clients were asking for, and which is why we built that out as an offering.
Well, and I think that what I heard you alluding to is that, you know, we're really best suited in the role that is our primary job. So if we're supposed to be managers of a department, then it's difficult to also be security too. It's too much to be all of it. And I think that leads us over to this next piece of conversation, which is the expansion of technology and where that's taking us. And, you know, that goes back to that conversation that we first started off, is what role does SwissNet powered by Advisory have in this SaaS-based world?
Once upon a time, when someone decided to go into business for themselves, they defined their mission vision, they defined their model, they knew what they wanted to, the value they wanted to bring, but based on typically their passions. I hope it's all passion driven. And once that was all defined, they said, okay, now I need software that's going to support my model. So, you know, if it was accounting, you might have chosen QuickBooks Desktop. If it was, you know, some other industry, you were choosing those softwares. Over time, with the advancement of technology and with the adoption of cloud and the rapid advancement and adoption of SaaS-based software, QuickBooks Online, a number of, your payroll and your time and expense and accounts payable, accounts receivable, all of those SaaS-based applications. What's happened over time is we've expanded our threat perimeter. So what I mean by that is you're not just having to worry about the cyber attacks that can happen inside of your office building. Now you're worrying about your employees' homes. You're worrying about the credentials to all of these different SaaS-based applications. And so where we come in, where we think our place is in that SaaS world, is providing peace of mind and security and accessing all of those other applications. So really holistically approaching the entire threat perimeter, not just the old threat perimeter that used to exist. And really where we found our niche was in the cloud hosting of desktop software. And for a lot of firms, that held everything for them. Everything that they did was in our environment. But then they started to branch out and they had more and more app integrations and third-party connections. And every time you connect an app to another app, you open up another vulnerability. So that's where I think our role is.
Well, and that's not going to go away, that need to be online. Everything that we do, you want to search for a definition, you want to search for a form, you want to search for an app, all of that is online. Grocery shopping, I do it online. So, that whole world of us living online is something that we've adapted to, but I don't think that we've pulled along the security, and it's caught up to the place where we've been digesting the web. So that's a place that I think that most of us are vulnerable. We try to not think about it because it's hard to do something about it, but here's where you can do something about it. Here's the point where you're able to say, my endpoints are being protected. The way that I access is being protected. So that level of security is new to most of us, but it's something that in order for us to be able to keep up with the way that we're digesting technology, we need it. So I want to say, Les, you talked to this already.
I think so. Yeah, the ripple effects. I kind of jumped ahead there, but yeah.
Well, and it was Les saying that nine of the people that had been connected to that franchisee were infected. And so, we don't always think about us as accounting firms having risk, but we do. We're vulnerable because we're seen as the keepers of a lot of client information. And even as a small firm, we have a lot of risk because even more so it's perceived that we don't have security in place. So it's important whether it's, like you were talking about earlier, your password protection vault, Heather, or you're talking about two-factor authentication, whatever it is that you're doing, making sure that there's not a lot of areas where you can have breaches.
Yeah, and I know that data retention policies isn't the focus of today, but just as long as we're here, you brought up, holding a lot of client data. We talk about this from time to time, really only keeping the client data that you are obligated to keep for however long you have to keep it is the only data you should be keeping. You should be archiving out or destroying data that's no longer needed. Because in the event of a breach, now you have an ex-client's information that has also been breached, and you have to reach out to them as well and explain how that happened and why it impacts them. So just because we can keep everything forever doesn't necessarily mean that we should.
Well, that's an excellent point, that we should be, if clients are leaving us, we should be doing something to safeguard that information, archiving it in a place
Definitely.
that we don't need any of this sensitive information. But I that's a good point, Sam, that we need to be doing something with those clients that are no longer with us.
Right.
Okay, Mandy, this is for you.
It's my favorite button.
Thank easy button.
Don't you wish you had that in everything in life? Just give me the easy
Yes.
button.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
You know, one year for Christmas, my dad gave me a whole set of buttons, and they had all different kinds of, it would be a couple of more bad words, but then other ones were like yes and no, so that way, or maybe, so I could hit those different buttons, instead of replying to my kids. It was really fun. It was really fun Christmas with half those little buttons. But you were talking about the easy button in order to be able to hit it, because eliminating some of the difficulty whenever you're thinking about how do I get started with security? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to know? So this is your easy button.
It's my easy button. Yeah. So last year when we were at Appy Camp, talking with everybody was interested in security. And the one question that we got from a lot of the campers was, where do we start? I don't understand everything. Where do we start? I just want something that's easy for me to understand and easy for me to implement into my firm. So that's what Sam and that was our biggest takeaway from Abbey Camp last year. And that's where we went back and we put together the easy button.
So I'm going to move over to this next slide, because this is partially where you've enabled the easy button.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk about what this means?
Yeah, these are our 3 cybersecurity in device or in detection and response solutions. The essentials, that is the prevention one. So you're going to have the next gen antivirus. You'll have the ability to roll your computer back should some malware or ransom hit. The Assure, that's that prevention. And then that's where that education comes in, to where we can do that fish prone testing and get you the training and then have the ongoing testing. And then with our elite package, not only we're preventing the attack, educating your staff on what not to click on, but we also are adding my favorite tool, and I don't understand why everybody doesn't have this tool. We add this tool onto your O365 or your G Suite. So if an attack should occur, we can roll that data back to just prior to the attack and restore it from right there.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And just like with you, Liz, hopefully we can have everybody back up and going in a matter of time instead of weeks, if they didn't have something like this in place.
Well, and in the case of my device, it wasn't a convenient time.
Well, it really never is.
No.
And I have a story that I like to tell. We had a real estate company that was on our solution, and she bought her computer at Best Buy. And a couple of weeks back, she gets a phone call from the Geek Squad at Best Buy saying that they've noticed an issue with her computer. They need to screen share with her and get this fixed. So she gets on with the Geek Squad, and the next thing you know, the Geek Squad is asking her to go to her bank account. And that's when she realized, something's not right here. She immediately hung up the phone, turned off her computer, called our support desk, talked to one of our agents, and they had her turn her back on her computer. She had the blue screen of death. Thankfully, she was part of our solution, and we just rolled everything back for her just prior to when the Geek Squad contacted her, which ultimately obviously wasn't the Geek Squad, and got her back up and going.
Well, that's the kind of thing that is comforting. Like for me, it was comforting. Heather, you've had a similar experience with QuickBooks Online itself, losing all the data. Having that backup is just, it's a nice fallback.
It is.
You talked about some of the training. I want to make sure that we're paying attention, that we're towards the end of the hour. Like, who would have thought that we'd have enough to be able to fill all of this time and some? So I could talk security for a long time, but I want to make sure that everybody knows about some of the things that you've got available. And then I want to launch our poll too. So if I launch the poll, Sam or Mandy, do you want to talk to this slide?
Yeah. Go ahead and launch the poll, and I'll just recap. I know we've talked about a lot of the different elements here, but essentially what we've done is put together packages Mandy talked about our EDR, so our endpoint detection and response, that has a couple other goodies bundled into those upper two tiers, like the education and the advanced backup and recovery solutions. Our managed IT services extends beyond endpoint protection and the training and the backup, and really extends into a holistic approach to managing all of a firm's IT management. So whether we're providing a VPN solution, or we're migrating you onto the Office 365 platform and integrating and implementing a SharePoint solution, or you just want us to be your IT provider that's doing all your patch management to make sure that your endpoint is also up to date with all of its security patches, so that you don't have to worry about that anymore, and enforcing that across all the devices within your organization. We have packages that are completely configurable to meet individual firm needs. And that's, again, one of our biggest takeaways from our Appy Camp experience and the conversations that have followed, and the communities that have welcomed us in and telling us what they need. And so that's what we've built, is the SwissStack solution.
I love this next slide too. So talking about SwissStack solution, you have a promo code for all of our Appy Hour viewers.
We do. We do.
Thanks,
So
Morgan.
if you reach out to us and have this promo code, we are going to give you 1 month free of any of our EDR and device protection packages that you are interested in.
Fantastic. I'm going to count us down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 on our poll. And then I'm going to advance us over. We announced our awesome winner. I'm excited for you. And then Heather, you want to share what we've got coming up?
Yes, absolutely. So next week we have our Commerce Sync deep dive, which looks to be amazing. Very excited about all the things that they have going on right now. And then on May 9th, we're going to have Kelly Gonzalez from Totally Booked join us to share her tech stack. Then on the 16th, we're going to have another campfire chat, this time with our friends at Evalera and Client Hub. And then on May 23rd, we're going to do a Cinder deep dive. So we got lots of things coming up. Those are our next 4 episodes. So really excited to dig into all of that.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and special thank you to Mandy and Sam for joining us today and
Well,
making
thank you
a
for
scary
having
topic not so scary.
This was fun. Love
It
it.
was. We're so happy to be here.
And congratulations, Megan, to the brand new owner of a really cool shirt.
Yes.
All right, bye
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.